we are going into our consolation match, or rather,
The winner's match.
Winner's match, yes. It seems so strange to call it that because Jongbi has, of course, retired, and our next player is not a winner by anything more than just a forfeit loss.
Yeah. SOS, of course, a really, really strong player, especially in the Protoss versus Protoss. A sick opponent to face. And Dia, so far, he did really well in this group, taking out Supernova with the 2-0 and kind of showed that his strength really is in the Protoss versus Terran. Now he's up against a different opponent, a very different matchup, though.
Yeah. This is going to be totally shifting gears into Protoss versus Protoss. Not the matchup he's known for, not the matchup he just played. And SOS definitely going to be feeling pretty good because he's been practicing a lot of Protoss versus Protoss. Because, you know, he's in a group of originally 3 Protoss players.
Yeah, SOS, I mean, this guy is a sick player. He's actually like, he's an amazing player. I mean, every single time you talk to Protoss players, one of the names that will come up if they talk about who they admire is definitely SOS.
Yeah, definitely is true. And, you know, his games against Innovation were pretty good, even though he wasn't able to end up winning that series. But, I mean, I remember even back before then, he was a top-notch Protoss player in all matchups.
It was actually really funny. I uploaded the first person, the APM video with him just 2 days ago, and the first thing that happens is that Naniwa is like, sick, finally I can get like all the secrets from this guy. So, you can really see that Protoss players are looking what exactly SOS does, just because he's such an amazing Protoss player, and so is D on the other hand. But when it comes to the mirror match, SOS definitely the player who has, from a statistical and historical point of view, the upper hand here. He is much more successful in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely so. Our starting map for these 2 players is going to be Yunsu. And looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. SOS, is he in the right mindset today? Because sometimes, as we've seen in the past, he can have an off day. He's a very strong player, but sometimes he makes mistakes that you wouldn't expect him to. And he's got to keep his cool against a player who just went 2-0 in the first series.
And whoever wins this best of 3 now is going straight to the round of 16. The loser has to face Supernova in the consolation match. So we're going to find out who takes game number 1. The Stars SLs on Yunsu going up against Dia here, the S-Safe Soul player, the only one of the 2 of them who had to play a game today so far, taking out Supernova with a quick 2-0 and putting the Terran player straight into the constellation match, since unfortunately Jongbi, the 4th player in this group today, has announced his retirement and won't participate. So all his opponents get 3 losses. 3 wins.
Yes, 3 wins. And that's really good, of course, for SOS. All he has to do is win this best of 3, and he will find his way into the easiest round of 16 of Codes there's ever been. See if he can do it. Here we go. The map Yunsu is loaded for this Protoss versus Protoss here at the WCS Korea Premier League. Casted by Calder and Wolf.
And starting on Yunsu on the bottom left of the map, we have the Wounding Stars player. It is in his first game today.
Wounding Stars SOS.
Really strong player, especially in the Protoss versus Protoss, going up against a strong opponent. Starting to the top right after defeating Supernova. But the 2-0 is for STX Seoul.
STXO Deer.
And Deer's on our more barren side of the map here on Yunsu. And he actually is facing a very early scout, a pylon scout, in fact, from SOS. SOS not taking any chances. Is he going to gas steal? It's quite possible. He's offensive gassing. 1 gas taken, he could go for the double. Does he go for the double?
Yeah,
he goes for the double. Double offensive gas. This is a really old strategy.
And that is definitely not what I expected, but that's pretty cool. Steals the gas right off the bat, right at the beginning here, and that's of course now quite annoying for his opponent. At the other hand, he of course delays everything that SOS does by a fair bit.
Yeah, it really does, but this is a great opening. If you can get away with this, you can really, really mess up your opponent's build. This is not something that Deer is going to have a lot of experience dealing with. And he also it doesn't have with Scout, no scouting probe, he can't re-steal his opponent's gas, something you might do if you go for a pylon scout as well, and this happens to you. You try to steal your opponent's.
The annoying thing that happens here is that there are very limited options of what you can do to actually prevent that or to just negate that. You have to kind of wait for your first zealot to come out, and there's already the chrono boost on the warp gate or the gateway for exactly that reason. If you start to commit probes to take down that, it doesn't help you at all.
He's purposely stealing gas, so if the game goes longer, he's taking the gas, converting it to minerals, and taking, so he's not only stealing gas, but minerals as well. He's taking minerals and gas, and the longer that goes on, he's literally destroying minerals and gas of his opponent. Probe's coming off the line here to destroy this, and I don't blame him. It's a good choice.
He's literally killing his board.
Oh, well, he's trying. He's trying hard here, and I'm really liking his position here. SOS, a very intelligent opening here, a very risky one, but it works out in this case. And even if you only get one gas steal off, it still annoys your opponent quite significantly.
He stole roughly 32 gas there. And here comes the assimilator. And keep in mind that he's also, well, Deer that is, he's losing mining time with all of those probes that he's currently committing to taking down that assimilator. So that is something else that works in favor of SOS at this point in time.
Yeah, and the core so late here. Already the first Stalker on the way for SOS. And, you know, he's got one of his own assimilators stolen, but he can be very okay with that. He's not losing any mining time. And these three Zealots are just not very useful in the early game because they're not ranged. They take so long to come across the map, especially a map like Yunsu.
SOS is just forcing Deer's hand in this game, and he is dictating along the pace but also the strategy of his opponent to this point. And this is a very scary probe that we currently have in the main base of Deer. This is something that Deer did completely not account for. He didn't realize that the probe is still sticking around. And with the probe in the main base, there are a lot of options that SOS suddenly has.
Including 4-gate, which he is doing.
He's going for the extra gate and he will just drop that pylon in the main base, and the real problem for Deer is that he has no idea. He doesn't know.
He has a pylon, or rather a probe in SOS's base, but he's not scouting with it. And this is really tricky because the probe that's shown here makes him think that he's okay. Oh wow, even losing his Zealot here, he's in so much trouble, Kaldor.
There's like no chance. I mean, look at the timing for the warp gate research here. Deer is so far behind. He's just now getting those gates. We will have so many warp-ins already for SOS. The only thing that works a little bit in favor of Deer is that he already has like 3 Zealots in the game, but how long is that really going to matter?
Not going to matter once those Stalkers start warping in, and he's got the warp gates ready. Here come the Stalkers right in the main base, all 4 of them, and this is going to be lights out. All he has to do is target down the Stalker and go for some good micro here. Going to be pretty easy to win this one.
This is game right here. It's 6 Stalkers already against 4 Zealots, and now another round of warp-ins is going to happen pretty soon, and this is just too much damage already done. Even with the Nexus that we have in the game, this should not, there's just no way to save this.
Doesn't even have to micro his Stalkers anymore. The probes fall. He's going to kill these units warping in.
They're not even warp gates in the main base of Deer just yet.
GG.
GG and game. SOS takes the first map in the Protoss versus Protoss in our winners match here at the WCS Premier League.
You send an early probe, you double gas steal your opponent. If you can get away with that, you know, that was kind of a very novice mistake, I feel, by Deer. If the first gas is stolen that early, you better take your second one, because if you lose both, you almost certainly will lose the game.
I was very much surprised that he didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little options for you if you have no gas as a Protoss player in this matchup. And any matchup, really, because Protoss is a race that goes straight into getting those tech units out. You don't want to wait.
You know, actually, like, if SOS wins this best of 3, that would be a very short day for him. Just coming to the studio, playing a quick match, and then like, okay, cool, WCS round of 16 it is. Bye-bye, guys. See you next week.
A great build for a 2-player map. I really like it. And if you only get the 1 gas steal, like I said, it messes with your build a little bit, but it still messes with your opponent.
Yeah, it definitely messed with Deer's head. You could see that. The problem for Deer really was that, first of all, the gas steal itself was already really throwing him off. And then he never really accounted for that 1 probe that SOS was hiding in his own base, and then suddenly there's a warp in with 4 Stalkers. I mean, what are you gonna do? I always thought that Elfie would bring back the 4-gate into professional PvP, but it's actually SOS.
Yeah. SOS indeed. Belcher Vestige, the map that Deer has chosen, needs to hold on here. SOS, on the other hand, 1 more win to go to the round of 16 here at the WCS Korea Premier League with Kaldor and Wolf.